Hey guys, I just want to do this tutorial on this hat that I just created. This hat I'm going to call is a Jacob's Ladder stitch hat. Okay, so you can see, let's see if you can see the back and the side of it. Okay, so this is the hat that I just created, and I want to show you the pattern and how I did it. Okay, so this is my hat beret style. Okay, hopefully you enjoy the tutorial. See you soon. Hey guys, so I'm going to start to begin this Jacob's Ladder beret, and first I will do my slip stitch. So this is how I do my slip stitch. I flip it on underneath, I put it through, and I pull through. That's how I do my slip stitch to start. Okay, so what I'm going to start in this first pattern, how I start this pattern is I start with, I do a chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I join it to form the circle. There. And I hold back and I keep that circle centered there. And now for the first row, I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to do 4 single crochets. Oh, sorry, scratch that. Actually, 8 single crochets in the first part. So I go in the center here. I pull up the loop. I do my first single crochet. And while I do this, I hold my tail in behind it and just try to crochet it underneath. So it's the first single crochet. Do the second. Third single crochet. Fourth. Fifth single crochet. Oh, careful. Again, careful again. Sixth. Seven. Then my 8th single crochet. Okay, so there's a bit of an opening at this part, which I don't mind it having a little bit of an opening here. Some people might want to keep the tail in to try to sew it together, but I find once the hat is finished, a little opening at the beginning is just, it's a little bit of a detail that it doesn't really bother me too much. So I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch, and I'll just pull them together. Okay, so now the second row is I'll chain 1. Okay, and then starting row 2, in this case you're going to actually put as the increase 3 single crochets into each stitch around. So in the end there'll be 24 stitches. So the first one, I'm in the stitch, I have a chain 1, go into the first single crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Next stitch, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and the third single crochet. Next stitch, 1, 2, and 3. And with the next stitch, 1, 2, 3. And I continue this all the way around. Going into the last stitch there. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so that's the end of round 2 here. As you can see, I have a little bit of my tail from the previous row sticking out, but I can fix that and just weave that in under. And so that's round 2. End up with 24 single crochets in this round. This is the foundation for the hat in terms of how I'm going to start it out. Okay, so now I'm here, so I'm going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet and then just close off the round. Okay, and there we go. But next I'm actually going to start into my double crochets and into the bases of the Jacob's ladder stitch. Okay, so we'll continue on there. Okay, now starting on round 3, this is where I'm actually going to start into my double crochets and the foundation of the Jacob's ladder stitch. So I am in my first stitch here, so now I'm actually going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's a step up, and it's going to count as my first double crochet. And then what I shall do is I'll go into the next stitch and do another double crochet. And then I go into the next stitch and I double crochet again. And now I'm going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's chain 6. And after this point, I'm going to skip the next stitch there. Then I'm going to double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so I have that stitch there, so I'm going to skip that one right there, and double crochet into that one. Okay, so I yarn over, pull in there, and then I double crochet. Okay, and I double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so you can see I'm in that stitch there, and then I can double crochet into the next stitch. And now I double crochet into the stitch right after that one. I have 3 double crochets, and now I chain 6. Okay, chain 6, and now I yarn over, and then I double crochet in the next stitch here. So wait, I skip that stitch, and I double crochet in the next stitch there. So I yarn over, and then I go right into this stitch. Into the next stitch, I double crochet again, and then double crochet in the next stitch after that one. Okay, so I continue this all the way around until I come back to my beginning stitch. Okay, so now coming on to the end of my round here, you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 3 double crochets and the chain 6 in between. Okay, so I'm going to finish off this round with the last chain 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'll slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to finish this round. Okay, so that's the first 3 rounds. Let's see the pattern starting to form here. So how this is going to go progress from here now is that I'm going to proceed to increase in these double crochets as we move along. So in the next round, I will have, when I move around here, I'll have my first chain 3, then I'll increase in the second stitch, and then I'll do a double crochet in the third double crochet, and then do a chain 6, and do the next step around there, increasing in the second stitch on the next round. Okay? So I'll come back after I finish that round and explain that further. Okay? Okay, so now I'm almost finished round 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So in this case, I'll show you here. This is what I did. I did the chain 3 start, then I did an increase in the second double crochet, and then just did 1 on that double crochet. I did my chain 6 across, and then I moved across to the next row. And how I did this here was when I increased right in the space right before the stitch. So I did my first double crochet there, then I double crocheted in between these two, and then I did the 1 double crochet right there, and then I did my chain 6. So that way I had 3 below, and I'm increasing up to 4 in each of these around. So when I come up to my end here, okay, let's see. Now I just have to slip stitch in the top of the 3. Okay, so that's how the project looks right now after the first 4 rounds. Okay, so I'll continue on increasing each as I go. Okay, I'm back. I just finished the next round. This was round 7, I believe. And what I did here was I just did 1 increase. So I had 3 that first, then the next round I went up, I increased 1 to have 4. Then this round I increased twice to get 6. And then this round I increased just once to get up to 7. So in the next round, what I'm going to do is I think I'll continue that pattern of increasing 1, and then increasing 2, increasing 1, then increasing 2. So now I have 7 in this group, so the next round I'll put 9 stitches in that group. So I'll just show you quickly here. So in the first start of the previous row, I had the first 2 here, then I single crocheted in the next one, and then I put an increase in between here, and I did 1 and 1 and that one, and that was just in the first pattern, because the way I've been working this pattern so far is that I've been putting my first stitch right in the last chain of my chain 6, and then by the time I get to the end of it, I'm leaving the last loop of that double crochet unstitched in, so it comes back to being equaling up 6 chains. So when I did it that way, I had to add an extra increase right at the beginning of my chain 3, and then move along and then add my increase. So what I did once I got past that was I did my first double crochet, then the second one, then a third and the third stitch, fourth, and then I did an increase. I did an increase in the second last stitch there, and then I put 1 more in the last one. So I put the increase just before the last stitch on that round. And that's how I worked that one. So in the next round, I will do 2 increases to get up to 9 stitches in between my chain 6. Okay? So that is how it's looking so far. And I'll come back to you when I am after the next row. Okay, I just finished up round 7, and what I have here is I did my 9 stitches on this round. So following on this next pattern, the next row I had 7, then I have 9 here. The next row I should have 10, so I'll just do 1 increase, and then the row after that I shall have 12. Okay, we'll be back and continue on this journey with this project. Okay, be here with you soon. Okay, so I'm back here. I did 2 more rounds. So on this round I had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then I went up to 1 more increase to have 10, which you can see there. And then on this last row here, I went up 2 more increases to have 12. So I have 12 in each segment, and then I have my chain 6s. So if you think about this hat pattern now, if I Jacob ladder stitch now, had no more increases, I would basically have about 72 double crochets in this pattern. So if I had the 72 here, it would probably be enough for a good size beanie. But I want to make this slightly more exaggerated and make it more of a beret pattern. So I will try to do a few more increase rounds. So now I'm at 12. The next one I'll go up to be 13, and then the row after that I'll have 15. So I'll have 15 in each of them, and then I'll try doing 2 more rows at 15 in each segment, and then I'll go from there and try to decrease for a couple rounds, and then I'll close up my Jacob's ladder stitch. I'll demonstrate that, and then we shall see what the finished hat product looks like. Okay, so I'll come back to you after I finish the next 2 rounds, and at that point I have 12 here. Next round I have 13, and the round after that I'll have 15. So I'll come back to you when I have 15 stitches on each of these segments done. Okay, we'll see you soon. Okay, so I finished my 3 rows of double crochet. So I have 3 rows of 15 double crochets. So this round I had my increases, and then I did 2 more rows of 1 inches each. So now what I'm going to do is to work the Jacob's ladder stitch from the bottom of this pattern, from the first row here, all the way up. So I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so I secured my last round. So what I want to do is try to pull this loop up a little bit more, just to make sure that it's secure while I do this. Okay, so start in this one here. So how I do that is I start with this loop, put that loop on the hook, and then I go to the second loop, I put that on top of the loop, and now I pull the second loop underneath the first loop, and there's the first one. Now I go up to the third loop, I put the third loop on the hook, and now I pull the third loop underneath the second loop. There's a fourth loop, I put that on the hook, I pull the fourth loop underneath the third loop. Go to the fifth loop, put the fifth loop on the hook, and I pull the fifth loop underneath the fourth loop. Go to the sixth loop on the hook, pull sixth loop underneath the fifth loop. Then the seventh loop on the hook, then I pull the seventh loop underneath the sixth loop. Okay, go to the eighth, put the eighth loop on the hook, I pull, then I pull the 8th underneath the 7th. Go to the 9th loop, pull the 9th underneath the 8th. I'm getting close there. Put that underneath there. And pull the next one underneath. Oh, try to have that level. Pull the next one underneath that one. Actually, go back a bit there. There we go. Try that again. Okay. There we go. And then I have my last loop here. And then I pull that one underneath that one. And I pull this one up. Okay. So that is my first Jacob's ladder stitch. See, and it closes it up. Goes all the way up from the center part. Okay, so continuing on, this was the rest of the Jacob's ladder stitch once complete. This is the first one. So now I'm just going to go around and complete the rest of them, and then I'll come back, just pull this up, just to make sure that this loop is still staying up here, so I can single crochet to secure it in the next round. Okay, so now I'll come back once I finish all my Jacob's ladder stitches on the hat, and then I'll start the next row where I'll single crochet to secure this into this hat. Okay, I'll see you soon. Okay, so I finished all my Jacob's ladder stitches all throughout the hat. So now I'll go back to where I've had my longer white exaggerated the tail, white slip stitched in. So now for the first round here, I'm just going to do one single crochet in each stitch, and then after that I'll probably do a decrease, because right now I just want to make sure I get it even across, just so I can close up these Jacob ladder stitches. Okay, so I'll just show you how I do that here. So I'm in that first part here. Oh, make sure secure this one, pull this one up a bit further. This is the last stitch, so I have to try to be careful. Some people might want to put like a safety pin or a stitch marker just to secure that part, but I think I'll be okay right now. I'm not going to pull too hard. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so I'll just do a chain one, a single crochet in the first space, the first stitch. That's one. There's one here. Second one. Two. Three single crochets. Four. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. Oh, let's see. Here this part is of my Jacob's ladder. You can see it's coming out a little bit. Okay, so there, just push it up again. So I'm at 15 single crochets in this round. So now I'm just going to single crochet into the loop here. Let's secure it there. And then go to the next space here. So as we saw in the previous rounds, I would put a stitch into this one to keep that my double crochets along the line of my Jacob's ladder. But now, since my Jacob's ladder is closed, I will just single crochet in the top of the stitch now. Okay, so now I'll just go into this one, single crochet there. So now you can see, you slide it back. This is how the end of the Jacob's ladder looks. Okay, I'm almost done the hat. I just wanted to show you this is what the pattern looks like at the beginning of the hat, where I first started my double crochets and then my Jacob's ladder stitch. So at the crown of the head, it has this kind of exaggerated feature. It's like 6 points, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then each of the Jacob's ladder stitches move along off of that. Then when I flip it over, let's see, okay, I'll show you what I did for my band and decreasing. Okay, so like I said earlier, I went after I had my double crochet and my Jacob's ladder, I closed it off with my row of single crochet. So what I did was I did one, 2, 3 rows of single crochet, and then I went to the next row, I went to half double crochets. And when I did the half double crochet, I went to decrease my stitches to bring in the hat every 6 stitches. So I started with half double crochets, and after the 6th stitch I would decrease and put 2 half double crochet stitches together. I didn't show that partly because this is I assume a more intermediate tutorial, so I'd assume that there'd be a way to, you guys know how to do that. But if not, just leave me a comment and I will just refer you as to where you can find how to do this. So I did that for that round. But when I went to a stitch that was basically parallel to my Jacob's ladder stitch, I did a front post half double crochet stitch as well. And then I continued on my round of decreases. And then the next 2 rows of half double crochet, these 2, I actually did decreases in every 4th stitch. So I increased the number of decreases by 4 in each, and then when I came up to that same stitch that was parallel to my Jacob's ladder stitch, I did put another front post half double crochet, and I continued on. And then after that, I thought that that'd be enough decreases for my head, and I've just done 2 rows of evenly spaced half double crochets. And now the pattern pretty much fits my head. Okay, so this is my last round I did. So the next 2 rounds, what I decided to do was, for a bit of interest, was I just used a half double crochet, chain 1, and I did that all the way around the hat. And then the next round I just did a half double crochet and then a half double crochet in the chain 1, so the end has a bit of this gap. It's not that visible when on, but it just makes the last part of the brim a little bit looser, because when I crocheted it and I wanted to have a snugger fit, I find that if I keep on doing it too tight, it gets hard to get on and off my head. So I wanted to make sure there's a little bit of give there, even though it's still snug. So that's how I did this hat. Okay, let's see. This is the inside, what it looks like from the wrong side in. Oops. And that's the outside. Okay guys, I hope you like this. It's just a little pattern I came up with, and I'll show you a bit more of it after. Thanks for watching, guys.